What's up, you guys? It's Ron here with the latest news on the $2,000 fourth stimulus check update and recurring stimulus check update. And beyond that, Congress has proposed possible increases in Social Security benefits and different changes to the retirement system. We're going to be unpacking all of these items and discuss them in our video today, so definitely stick around. But first, I just want to say welcome back to all my subscribers. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I really appreciate you guys. And for those who are brand new to the channel, my name's Ron. We cover all things personal finance, investing, stimulus checks, cryptocurrencies, stock market updates, personal finance and investing. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way you know as soon as I release new videos and updates. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. What might add a lot more to your wallet than what you might have right now is coming from President Biden's platform and the Democrats' proposals. So first is here in this article. Schumer, Warren, and Wyden unveil plans to increase benefits by $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries. The senator's bill has been supported by the president during his campaign and was addressed numerous times. They have presented a plan to raise monthly Social Security payouts by $200 for everyone. The plan to provide more than 60 million Americans with an additional $4,000 over 2 years is part of Senate Democrats' bold Phase 3 stimulus proposal. Now, last year, they could not approve the bill in the Senate because Mitch McConnell was the Senate Majority Leader. Now, the Democrats have the House, they've got the Senate, and the presidency. They have about a year to accomplish all that they have on their agenda, including these next two packages, the infrastructure package, and the next stimulus package known as the American Families Plan, Social Security increases, as well as Medicare expansion. Both the Democrats and the Republicans have proposed clever methods for covering Medicare and Social Security increases without raising taxes. President Biden is determined on raising taxes on businesses and the wealthy 1%. However, it could be difficult because even some Democrats are opposed to raising taxes, but they can reach up to about $2 trillion by implementing a few of these semi-intriguing changes. The IRS is due to collect $1 trillion per year, but they don't ever collect the money that they're entitled to. The IRS's problematic proposal is asking for everyone's bank accounts to ensure them that you're not buying or selling cryptocurrencies or, things on eBay, and that you're paying taxes on all of these transactions. The IRS would want to know everyone's bank account information and would be able to just simply download it. So say goodbye to any of your privacy, right? And that proposal is quite polarizing, and I'm really not sure it's going to pass. This method, however, would raise the funds for the IRS. This might involve about $100 to $200 billion a year that the IRS could possibly collect. Now, the extra $200 each month, which amounts to an additional $2,400 annually, would be a great improvement for seniors and everyone else who's on Social Security. There's also a proposal backed by a lot of Democrats to force pharmaceutical companies by law to sell their products to the federal government and to any U.S. citizen for the same price that they sell it to any other country. Truth is, insulin is sold to other nations for as little as $7 a vial, while here in the United States, it can cost more than $100 a vial. Now, suppose the law is passed that they must not do this. They must instead sell it to both the U.S. government and the American citizens for, the lower price. This would save the government $600 billion annually compared to the previously estimated $450 billion. The funds can then be used to expand Medicare and Social Security. Up next, President Biden is considering having another Social Security proposal in one of the upcoming stimulus packages this year. Remember, they just have a year or so left until the next elections. So the Democrats will really have to do everything possible to pass all these bills before the next election because the Senate is tied 50-50. Losing just one seat in the Senate or the House could mean that they're going to lose the power that they have in Congress. The Democrats will not have the trifecta, which is essentially a majority in the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And as a result, they would no longer be able to pass bills on their own through the reconciliation process. And as stated here, President Biden touted big changes to the program on the campaign trail. Under his plan, eligible workers would get a guaranteed minimum benefit equal to at least 125% of the federal poverty level. And the minimum guarantee would be $1,341 per month. Now multiply that by 12 and we'll have a guaranteed minimum of $16,092 annually according to President Biden's proposal. Now, additionally, this would also increase every single year due to the cost of living adjustments and also keep up with the federal poverty line. And beyond that, People who have received benefits for at least 20 years would get a 5% bump, while widows and widowers would receive about 20% a month more. And this is because they need the extra 20% to make up for the income loss. Biden also proposes changing the measurement for annual cost of living increases to the Consumer Price Index for the Elderly, or CPIE, which could more closely track the expenses that retirees face. To pay for those higher benefits, Biden would apply Social Security payroll taxes to those who are making $400,000 and up. In 2021, workers generally pay the 6.2% Social Security tax up to $142,800 of wages. And at over $142,800, they pay no Social Security tax. So the idea is to apply the payroll tax to all of those who earn $400,000 or above. Now, technically, from the $142,800 to $400,000, there's no Social Security tax, but it will start applying again at beyond $400,000 in income. President Biden claims that the proposed change might cover these increased Social Security payments for lower level recipients, resulting in at least $1,341 a month. In the coming packages this year, we could see that along with the $200 per month flat increase for Social Security. That's a lot of money potentially coming toward the Social Security recipients. So for certain people, one could be better than the other. Now, we have no idea which one will actually become a reality if the Democrats get to approve it in the next stimulus packages, but of course we'll have to wait and see. Now, on October 1st, the Democrats will have a whole new deck of reconciliation cards. If they fail to pass any of the above mentioned proposals and the next stimulus check, they will have another round of reconciliation checks, which will essentially allow them to, pass proposals the rest of the year and up to the beginning of next year. The truth is that Democrats have several packages of legislation to go through, whether that's with bipartisan support or without Republican support. However, the Democrats will only have about a year or two to achieve that, as they will almost certainly lose seats in the Senate and or the House during the next time that there's an election. And this is why Democrats are so interested in fighting for both Medicare and Social Security reforms and the fourth stimulus check, as well as $1,000 per month or even $2,000 per month recurring stimulus checks. President Biden at the G7 summit called on and convinced the other G7 leaders to commit to more economic stimulus measures to sustain stimulus throughout the year, somewhat anticipating that stimulus measures will become even more prevalent before the year's over. Very good news for stimulus. The president said that the most recent weak economic reports clearly show the need for extra stimulus, stating that he is open to a fourth stimulus check and that Congress could include it if they wanted to. We have many Democrats supporting another stimulus check, and some of them also want monthly stimulus payments. Every other day, there's a handful of Democratic politicians stepping forward to endorse a fourth stimulus check and even monthly stimulus checks, like the U.S. House of Representatives Ways and Means Committee, which is in charge of writing legislation for stimulus checks. Now, Social Security not only withstood the recession's financial storm, but it also performed better than many other sectors of the economy. However, with rising inflation, this has boosted prices recently. It was 5% in fact just last month, and cost of living will likely be substantially higher in 2022 because of this announcement. Last year, seniors got a 1.3% raise in Social Security benefits, and they can see an additional 5% this year. So for example, if you earn $1,000 a month, just a round number for Social Security, an additional 5% boost in your Social Security benefits would be an extra $50 per month. And then of course, if you received $1,000 per month, which is an extra $50 per month, that would be equal to $600 extra per year in Social Security benefits. Now, Congress is up to new things with this headline. Congress wants to make changes to the United States retirement system. Now, here's the specifics about what's being debated in Congress. Less than 2 years after the Secure Act ushered in significant changes to the nation's retirement system, more modifications may be on the horizon. Two similar bipartisan bills, one each in the House and the Senate, aim to build on that 2019 legislation as a way to bolster the ranks of savers and increase retirement security. While the measures are in the early stages of the retirement process, observers expect there will be some movement on them in the coming months. The outlook is positive, said Timothy Lynch, senior director at the law firm of Morgan Lewis. There's bipartisan support. so there's likely to be action sooner than later. The House bill has some pay-fors. This came from Paul Richmond, Chief Government and Political Affairs Officer at the Insured Retirement Institute. The Senate bill has none at all, but that could change. Called the Securing a Strong Retirement Act and nicknamed Secure 2.0, the House bill received unanimous approval last month for the House Ways and Means Committee. Its sponsors are the panel's chairman, Richard Neal, Democrat of Massachusetts, and ranking member Kevin Brady, Republican of Texas, which implies bipartisan support. Now, the Senate bill, called the Retirement Security and Savings Act and sponsored by Senators Ben Cardin and Rob Portman, has not yet received committee attention but is expected to next month, according to a person that was familiar with the bill's path going forward. Now let's have a look at some of these benefits that you will receive if these measures are passed. Student loan debt and retirement savings. Most companies that offer 401k plans will match your contributions up to a certain amount. For example, 100% match for the first 3% that you contribute, with a 50% match for the next 2%. For workers whose student loan debts keep them from putting money into their retirement accounts, it means missing out on that company money. Both the House and the Senate measures would enable employers to make contributions to 401k plans and similar work plans on behalf of employees who are making student loan payments instead of contributing to their retirement plan. The larger issue of how to address student loan debt doesn't have a lot of bipartisan agreement. This would be one step to try to help. Now, remember, President Biden has already given 3 rounds of student loan debt forgiveness to borrowers, nearly $2.3 billion to individuals who were defrauded by their college or their school closed on them. Now, while President Biden has stated his support for $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, Democratic senators like Chuck Schumer want him to offer more, like $50,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, kind of predicting that everyone who has student loan debt and earns less than a particular income criteria will see at least $10,000 in student loan debt forgiveness. I also anticipate that it's likely to be done by presidential executive order, since many experts claim that he can actually achieve this through an executive order. With this offering of student loan debt forgiveness of maybe $10,000 to $15,000 per person, about 1 in 6 adults will benefit from this. Yet the other 5 or 6 people in the United States will not benefit from it at all. And I believe after they pass this program, we may also see various debt forgiveness programs, such as maybe credit card debt forgiveness, medical debt forgiveness, or others implemented through a stimulus package. Other stimulus packages are also being discussed, because even if we eradicated this virus issue, the economic recovery is still likely to take a long time. In addition, these 2 additional stimulus bills have been proposed in the House and in the Senate. Now let's briefly talk about catch-up contributions. So the current law allows retirement savers who are 50 years old or older to make so-called catch-up contributions to their retirement savings. On top of the standard annual contribution limits of $19,500 for 401k plans and $6,000 for individual retirement accounts, aka IRAs, in 2021, those who qualify can put an extra $6,500 in their 401k or $1,000 in their IRAs per year. Both the House and the Senate bills aim to expand those amounts, although the specifics kind of differ a little bit. The House bill would adjust annual catch-up amounts based on inflation and would expand the 401k catch-up to $10,000 for individuals who are age 62, 63, or 64. Workers enrolled in the so-called simple plans would be allowed $5,000 in catch-up contributions from the current $3,000. The Senate bill would also index the IRA amount to inflation, but is more generous with the 401k catch-up contribution of $10,000, and it would apply to people who are age 60 years old or older. Also included in these proposals are various additional suggested improvements, such as required minimum distributions, which the Secure Act already changed when required minimum distributions, or RMDs, from retirement accounts must begin to age 72 from 70 and a half. Under the new House bill, these mandated annual withdrawals wouldn't have to start until age 73 in 2022, and then age 74 in 2029, and age 75 by 2032. Now, in this way, you can leave your money in your IRA to grow if you choose to. Now, similarly, the Senate bill would raise the RMD age to 75 years old by 2032. It would also waive the RMDs for individuals with less than $100,000 in aggregate retirement savings, as well as reduce the penalty for failing to take RMDs to 25% from the current 50%. So anyway, guys, that's all for your 4th stimulus check and stimulus package update. We covered the recurring stimulus check update, possible increases in Social Security benefits. Very, very good news from that front, and different changes in the retirement system. So what do you guys think about this one? Let me know down in the comments down below. I love to hear from you guys. Let's get a little debate going maybe. So I hope you guys appreciated all of this, all of the updates. And if you haven't already, do like this video. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way you're the first to know as soon as I release new videos and content. And I'll see you guys on our next video. Take care and be safe.